Hey guys, so today we're going to talk all about eyebrows, and I'm going to start from the very beginning and explain how I got to the point that I'm at now with my eyebrows. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. Many years ago I never did anything to my brows, but then after a while I decided that I wanted to be a little more proactive about making them look halfway decent. And so I think it was when Ulta first started as a company, so I don't know how many years ago that was, maybe like 7 years ago, something like that. I bought a set of brow stencils at Ulta by Anastasia, and they're $20 now. I have no idea what I paid for them back then. I'm sure it wasn't as much as that, but they're $20. You get a bunch of different stencils in the package to choose from because not everybody likes the same thing. So you get a bunch of different ones to choose from, and then you just basically look through them, decide which one you like the looks of, and use that one to start shaping your brows to be the shape that you want them to be. But before we get into that, I did want to mention that if you are a younger person, keep in mind that as you get older, your brows are going to thin out just naturally. So if you overpluck your brows when you're young, when you're older, like me, they might end up being too thin, and then you're going to have to use more brow product to fill them in. So I've never done that because I think I might have read that somewhere or whatever that might happen. So I've always kept that in the back of my mind. But I prefer what they call a full brow anyway. Even before Cara Delevingne came along with her big full eyebrows, even when that wasn't in style, I always preferred a full brow. So this is the stencil from the Anastasia kit, and it just means basically that it's like the largest of the different styles of brows that there are to choose from. But different people like different things, and you know, this style of brow may not be for everybody, and if you want something that's more streamlined, more tapered, thinner, then they have those options in here too. So it's 20 bucks for a set of Anastasia brow stencils at Ulta. There are other options out there, but not a lot. I had gotten a set from Essence at one time at Ulta, and they weren't very expensive at all, but I didn't really care for the shape of them, so I ended up not ever using those. But once you use a stencil and have your basic shape, then after that you more or less just need to maintain it, and it's pretty easy to do that. I very rarely have to do anything to my brows, but I'm going to show you today what I do. And again, brows are very subjective. Different people like different things. I cut my brows, the length of them, and the reason why I do that is if you don't cut your brow hairs, you're going to have to do more to them and put more product in them to have them look the way you want them to. Have you ever been watching a YouTube video and somebody was talking about using a clear brow gel or a brow wax or brushing their brows? Well, if you cut your brow hairs, you don't have to do any of those things because they're going to stay in place, and all you'll have to do is fill them in. So it's just a much easier way to be able to take care of your brows. So I'm going to show you today what I use and how I do it. And again, you know, this isn't necessarily what you might want to do, but it makes it a lot easier to maintain your brows, I think. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is one of these. Have you ever gotten a full set of brushes and got this in there and thought, what the heck is this thing for? This is for brows, and if you do your brows the way I do, then this is pretty much essential. Another thing you're going to need is just a small pair of like manicure scissors, but you could use you know, whatever you had, but this is going to be the easiest thing, is just the small manicure scissors. So this is all I'm going to need to do. So like I said, I used one of those stencils for the full brow many years ago, and so I don't really have to do that again. Once you have the shape, it's very easy to maintain. If you're somebody who like grows a lot of random hairs and you'll see them just outside the line, you know, you can always just pluck those out with tweezers if they appear, but I don't usually get those. I mean, maybe once in a great while I'll see one and just pluck it out, but I don't have to go back and change the shape again now that it's been set a long time ago. So what I do, because the reason why I'm doing this video today is because I noticed that it needed to be done yesterday when I was doing my makeup. It doesn't matter where you begin, or even you don't have to do it systematically in a pattern or anything, but I started noticing that all the hairs on the outside here, where the eyebrow, like the tail of the eyebrow tapers off, I started noticing that they were getting pretty long, and it was making it a lot more difficult to fill in my brows. So what I do is I just take this comb side of the brow, and then I go under the brow hairs and sort of lift them up a little bit in the air, and then I take those manicure scissors. I'm gonna move the camera a little bit to make sure that I stay in frame. So I just slide the comb underneath the eyebrow hairs, and then I take the scissors this way, and then I just cut whatever is sticking up above the comb. And that's going to give my eyebrows more of their original shape. And then I just work my way across the brow. Just a little bit at a time. And you're probably thinking, oh my God, you're going to have bald spots. You may have a little bald spot here and there, but you'd be surprised. Most of it maintains its shape. Like right here, I have a little bald spot now, but I fill in my brows with pencil every day anyway, so it's really not going to make any difference. If you're somebody that doesn't fill in your brows every day, though, you probably won't want to use this method. I didn't even know people did this until I saw a video many years ago. I think it was Makeup by Tiffany D doing this, and I was like, wow, that looks scary, but it's so much easier to keep your brows under control if you do this. And just slide the comb along, just moving it over a little bit at a time, and just cut what is above the comb. I don't have any makeup on because if I had makeup on and any of those little hairs fell, they would stick to the makeup, so I prefer to do this without any makeup on. But I'll do my makeup after this and turn the camera back on just so you can see the completed look. Okay, then you can take the other side and brush them through, and then just take a closer look and see if there's anything that looks like you missed. So that looks pretty good. Alright, so now I'm going to shut the camera off, do the other one, because I think you've got the gist of it, and then I'll show you what I do to fill them in, and then I'll do my makeup and you can see the end result. Okay, so I cut the brow hairs on the other eyebrow, and you might think, looking at my eyebrows, you might think, wow, she cut a lot more on that side than she did on that side. Actually, I didn't. This eyebrow, for some reason, is much darker in color than that one is. I have no idea why. It's kind of crazy, but that's the way it is. So I use this eyebrow pencil from Forever 21. Their brand is called Love and Beauty. and it's gray. And I find that when my hair is blonde, if I fill in my brows with this gray pencil, even though my brows aren't gray, well, this one actually is a little bit, but this one is more of a brownish color. But if I use gray to fill in my brows, it just looks very natural. It blends very easily. This pencil is, I think it's like $2.80 at Forever 21, and it's like a wax pencil, so it just blends like a dream. Now, after I color my hair in a few weeks, I'm going to be changing the color, and then this won't work anymore. I'm going to have to use something else. I don't think they have a lot of options for colors for this pencil, so I may end up using something that I already have that I tried before that didn't work for me because of my hair color at that time. But anyway, all I'm going to do is just fill in my brows now with small strokes. I mean, the hairs are still there, they're just shorter. So it's just going to give it more of a polished look without the hairs being too long, and easier to, they're just so much easier to control when they're shorter. When they get too long, you'll know it. I'm not on any set schedule. I just do it when I feel like it needs it. But if you look at my brows now and then you look at them in yesterday's video, you'll see a big difference. Now this one is a lot lighter. There's a lot less hair there, and it seems to be lighter in color. So this brow is much harder to fill in because I don't have as much of a guideline there, because I'm basically just going over the hairs that are there to form that shape. So sometimes I fill them in like too much on purpose, and then I blend it out with the spoolie on the other side. But I really love this pencil because it's got wax in it, and it just makes it so much easier. Okay, so they look a little bit too dark right now, but that's okay, because once I blend it out with this, it'll look fine. And just follow the natural line of the brow and brush it in short strokes, just like you did when you were applying the pencil. And then once I get down to the tail part, I start going down with my strokes. So just follow the direction that the hair is growing. And now it has like a slightly blurred effect, but it makes it look much more natural. And just keep going over it until it looks like it's the color that you want it to be, because this is just going to change the color slightly and lighten it up. And you don't need to use as much pencil once you groom them and cut the hairs and fill them in as you would if you didn't cut the hairs. You would need much less pencil. But yeah, it just makes them, having them shorter like this, it makes them lay flatter. I don't have to use any kind of brow mousse or gel or clear brow mascara or any of those things that a lot of people do to try to calm them down. It's very much a matter of taste though, because some people have very long brow hairs, but they just don't have a lot of them. They do more plucking. To me, when I see like close-up photographs of that, or somebody in a video, I see their brows up close, I just don't like the way it looks. So it's very subjective. It's totally up to you. But like I said at the beginning, keep in mind, the more you pluck now, the less brow you're going to have later on. So hopefully you found something in this video that was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So I said I was going to come back at the end with makeup on and my hair down and everything, just so you could see the finished look. So it doesn't look a whole lot different, but if you go back and look at yesterday's video, you might be able to see a slight difference. My eyebrows might look a little bit I don't want to say bushy, but that's really the only word that I can think of. So they look a little more groomed now, but once they're penciled in, you can't really see a difference. So I don't know. I just figured I would show you what I do to my eyebrows to maintain them. Alright, so that's it for today, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.